I think is pretty good, but I don't have him on the list. And I was lucky. Somebody who maybe ought to know says to me, you need to put Derek Mason on the list. And being a smart aleck, I said, don't you think it's a little early? He just left the Baltimore Ravens. He's doing radio with us. Don't you think it's a little early? He said, no, stupid, not that one. He said, the one out at Stanford. He said, the defensive coordinator, the guy that stopped Oregon for a couple of years. Well, when he said stopped Oregon, I said, okay, spell it. And so I put him on the list and then put out this bold proclamation that this list will have the new head football coach. Dadgum, was I lucky. So was the book on you in the coaching profession? This is the guy that stopped Oregon?
Yes, to a certain degree. That's how it came about. I mean, we had been to an Orange Bowl, we had been to the Fiesta Bowl, but we hadn't beaten Oregon. Vic Fangio, who's now the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, everybody thinks it's Jim Harbaugh that actually brought me to Stanford. I turned Jim down a couple of times. It was actually Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator, that actually talked me into going to Stanford, and he had just come from the Baltimore Ravens. I had known Vic for quite a while, but our process was this. He said, man, we've got a chance to be really good. They haven't been good on defense, and it's a place where we can play great defense. You just got to trust me. So trusted him, went there, and man, we struggled versus Oregon. First year, I think they put up 45. Second year, I think they put up 47. And we went back to the drawing board. Vic had left after the first year to go to San Francisco. I sat there with my staff. Jason Tarver, who's now the defensive coordinator for the Oakland Raiders, had left to go to Oakland. So now I'm sitting there by myself, and me, Lance Anderson, and Willie Shaw sat down and watched those Oregon games and talked about what we needed to do. And we found out some things about ourselves. Okay, we never got lined up. We didn't tackle very well. Poor communication and too many explosive plays. So we went back to the drawing board and we fixed it. And lo and behold, we go to Oregon. Oregon's number 1 and number 2 in the country. At Oregon on a Thursday night, and we play that game. And we have some great things happen to us in that game. But the one thing we did, we got lined up, we tackled. And, before it was all said and done, we shocked the world and beat Oregon at Oregon, a team that was averaging close to 49 points a game and over 600 yards in total offense. And, we held that offense to, I believe, 14 points that night, which hadn't been done since Auburn played them in the bowl game.
Yeah, pretty darn good. We're going to go out into the audience in just a couple of minutes, and let's see. Tell them who you are and where the microphone is.
Hey everyone, I'm Mary Lynn. If you want to ask a question to Coach Mason, just raise your hands and I'll come over to you guys, okay?
Mary Lynn put up with me for 8 hours yesterday, so she is now applying for sainthood. So we'll take some questions here in a minute. What do you think you've got coming back?
A really good team. You start at the quarterback position. Got a question mark at the quarterback position because I haven't designated a quarterback. But I'm not going to designate a quarterback until week 1. I think right now, I've found that, in my years of coaching, that position needs to be the position that really guides us and takes us where we want to go. So I have to fully assess, those quarterbacks, where they're at and what they can do in order to see, which guy's going to be the guy. But there's a lot of speculation, but we don't know right now. Everything else is pretty good. Offensive line, really good. Running backs, good. Receivers, untested but talented. Our tight ends are something that we were known for at Stanford, and it's going to be similar here. I think anytime you have tight ends, you're able to open up the middle of the field and take pressure off your quarterback. So, we're talking about balance. And then, for us, when you look at us defensively, I've had a chance to be part of a group, and that's been as good a defense in college football as there's been over the last 4 years. This defense is faster, more athletic, and better cover guys. So with that being the case, I've got to go through the season and let them tell us where we're going to be. But I know we're more talented than I ever was at Stanford.
Really?
Okay?
Has that surprised you?
Somewhat.
If he's right, you ought to clap.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
I tell you why it surprises me a little bit, because I didn't know what to expect out of our back end. Defensively, we're big up front and we're fast, and we have been fast but not as big. But that's what the SEC is known for. I mean, front play. So whether it's the offensive line or defensive line, those guys can play.